Good morning and welcome to the Public Service Commission. We are here this morning at docket number 2024-34-E. This is a request by Dominion Energy, South Carolina Incorporated, for authority to adjust and increase its retail electric rate schedules, tariffs, terms, and conditions. All commissioners are present here in the courtroom, and I would ask Ms. Clausen to please read the docket. Before we get too far, we do have one public witness that agreed to be heard this morning, and it's save everybody a lot of time and trouble from Tuesday afternoon, and we will proceed with that first. But if you go ahead, Ms. Clausen.
Thank you, Chairman Powers. Commissioners, we are here today on docket number 2024-34-E, the application of Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc. for authority to adjust and increase its retail electric rate schedules, tariffs, and terms and conditions. Today is Monday, July 15th at 2024, the date that this hearing was noticed for. And Mr. Chair, the docket is in order.
Thank you. Mr. Bachman, I'll turn it over to you for this witness, please.
Ms. Moss-Clark, can you hear me? Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to put you on speakerphone and we're going to swear you in. One moment.
Okay.
Ms. Moss-Clark, if you would please affirm that the testimony that you're about to give represents the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. Will you please provide the commission with your name, your street name, and the name of your town, but not your full address?
My name is Beverly Elaine Moss Clark, and my street name is Hyatt Avenue. And what was the last one?
The name of your town, please.
Columbia.
Thank you, ma'am. And are you a Dominion Energy South Carolina customer?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, ma'am. You may begin your testimony. You will have 3 minutes to give your testimony before the commission. We do ask that you stay on the line once those 3 minutes have elapsed, as commissioners or parties may have questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. You may begin.
I wanted to pose a proposal to the commission that elderly people be considered when this decision is being made to increase the electric bill, because those of us who are in our 60s and 70s have difficulty making ends meet. We did not make the salaries that are being made today, and our retirements are totally different from the economic scale that we have today. And I think there's some consideration should be made for senior citizens.
Thank you, ma'am. Does that complete your testimony?
Yes, it does.
Any questions from the parties? Any questions from commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belser.
I would just, Ms. Moss-Clark, can you hear me?
Is someone speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can barely hear you, though.
Ms. Moss-Clark, I just want to thank you for taking the time to give us your thoughts and testimony this morning. I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the commission for being here this morning, appearing virtually this morning.
Thank you very much for allowing me to have my say.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope you have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you, Commissioner Belser. I'd like at this time to take appearances of the parties, starting with the company.
Good morning, Chairman Powers and members of the commission. My name is Chad Burgess. I'm in-house corporate counsel for Dominion Energy South Carolina, and with me today is Elizabeth Hutton. She's also in-house corporate counsel for the company. And then to my immediate right here is Mr. Belton Ziegler from the law firm of Womble Bond Dickinson. And also with me today is Michael Anselmo from the law firm of McGuire Woods. And together we will be representing the company in this proceeding. Thank you.
Thank you. Interveners, Department of Consumer Affairs.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Roger Hall, Deputy Consumer Advocate with the department. My co-counsel next to me here is Jacob Edwards, and also joining us is our administrator, Carrie Gruby-Leibacher.
Thank you very much. South Carolina Coastal Conservation League and Southern Alliance for Clean Energy.
Good morning, Chair Powers. Kate Mixon on behalf of SACE and CCL. And with me today is Emma Clancy, who is appearing virtually.
Thank you. CMC Steel.
Good morning, Alex Shishis for CMC Steel.
Thank you, Mr. Chises. South Carolina Energy Users Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Scott Elliott. I represent the energy users in this docket. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. United States Department of Defense and all other federal executive agencies.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. John McNutt on behalf of the United States Department of Defense.
Thank you. Walmart.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Carrie Grunman with the law firm of Spillman, Thomas & Battle, appearing in person and virtually is my colleague, Stephanie Eaton, on behalf of Walmart, Inc.
Thank you. Mr. Frank Knapp, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Frank Knapp, I am here representing myself in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Office of Regulatory Staff.
Good morning, Chairman Powers. Donna Rainey on behalf of ORS. With me today is Ben Muschin and Chad Torrey.
Got you hidden back there. All right. It's my understanding that there has been a stipulated agreement between certain parties. And since we didn't receive the agreement till after hours on Friday night, which that's not a real complaint. I've settled many cases at the courthouse door and know what it's like, and it takes a certain time before people really can get to where they need or want to be. But I feel like before we get into any testimony or any other preliminary matters, that I feel like I need to poll the parties as to their position with this agreement. And would have certain questions I'd want to ask, and I'm going to start with the company. Obviously, you're a strong proponent of this agreement. You feel you had adequate opportunity to participate meaningfully in this case, engaging in discovery, pre-filing testimony, and hearing testimony from customers in public night hearings.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. This agreement was negotiated extensively among the parties, and certainly on behalf of Dominion Energy South Carolina, we feel like no stone was left unturned regarding the issues that were raised in this proceeding. So,
okay. And you feel that this settlement negotiations were done in good faith? Absolutely,
they were done in good faith without question.
And at your corporate level, has there been time, the opportunity to review the terms of the agreement?
Yes, sir. There have been ample opportunity to review it, and we agree to those terms.
All right. And you are agreeing to this voluntarily without any undue influence?
Yes, sir. That is absolutely correct.
Would you agree that what was presented to the commission, the agreement resolving all issues as to the signatory parties, that there are certain non-signatory parties, that this is not a comprehensive settlement resolving all issues among all parties of record in the proceeding?
I don't know if I would agree with that statement. There are two non-signatories, but those non-signatories who can speak for themselves, their issues were resolved in this case.
Well, I'm going to question them just a little
Absolutely.
bit differently.
I understand.
Thank you. As to the other parties, if I ask the questions and then just go down the list of parties, is that suitable?
Yes, sir.
You agree with
yes,
that?
Chairman.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'm going to go through I'm going to read the question and then I'm going to call on the party, if that's okay. The first question was, did your client have an opportunity to participate meaningfully in this case, including engaging in the discovery process, pre-filing testimony, and hearing testimony from customers in public night hearings? And first, Department of Consumer Affairs.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. South Carolina, Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, South Carolina Coastal Conservation League.
Yes, sir.
U.S. Department of Defense and all other federal executive agencies.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Walmart Incorporated.
Yes, Chairman.
South Carolina Energy Users Committee.
Yes, sir.
CMC Steel, South Carolina.
Yes, Commissioner.
Frank Knapp Jr.,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Office of Regulatory Staff.
Yes, Chair Powers.
All right. And I do have separate questions for the non-participants, and so I will not call on the two parties for the rest of these, but we'll go through the others at the time. Did your clients have an opportunity to participate meaningfully in this case, including engaging in discovery process, pre-filing testimony, and hearing testimony from customers in public night hearings? Southern Lights Clean Energy, South Carolina Coastal Conservation League,
Yes, Chair Powers.
U.S. Department of Defense, and all other federal executive agencies.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Walmart Incorporated,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
South Carolina Energy Users Committee,
Yes, sir.
Frank Knapp Jr.,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Office of Regulatory Staff.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Did your client participate in the settlement negotiations in good faith? Southern Alliance for Clean Energy,
Yes.
U.S. Department of Defense, and all other federal executive agencies.
Yes.
Walmart Incorporated,
Yes, Chairman.
South Carolina Energy Users Committee,
Yes, sir.
Frank Knapp Jr.,
Yes, sir.
Office of Regulatory Staff.
Yes.
Has your client or have your clients had the opportunity to review the terms of the agreement? Southern Lights Clean Energy, South Carolina Coastal Conservation League,
Yes, sir.
U.S. Department of Defense, and all other federal executive agencies.
Yes, my client has reviewed and approved the settlement agreement.
Walmart Incorporated,
Yes, Chairman.
South Carolina Energy Users Committee,
Yes, sir.
Frank Knapp Jr.,
Yes, sir.
Office of Regulatory Staff.
Yes, Chair Powers.
Your clients to join in the agreement was reached voluntarily and not the product of any undue influence. Southern Lights Clean Energy,
Yes, Chair Powers.
U.S. Department of Defense, and all other federal executive agencies.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Walmart Incorporated,
Yes.
South Carolina Energy Users Committee,
Yes, sir.
Frank Knapp Jr.,
Yes, sir.
Office of Regulatory Staff.
Yes, Chair Powers.
All right. Would you agree that what was presented to the commission is agreement resolving all issues as to the signatory parties, but there are certain non-signatories, that it is not a comprehensive settlement resolving all issues among all parties of record in the proceeding?
I would echo. Mr. Burgess's comments earlier.
So you would take the position it is a full resolution?
I would allow the non-signatory parties to speak for themselves, but I do believe that this agreement resolves the issues in this proceeding.
Okay, thank you. U.S. Department of Defense and all other federal executive agencies.
Yeah, I would have to concur and echo the comments of the company and other counsel. My understanding is that the non-signatories do not oppose this settlement agreement.
Okay. Walmart Incorporated.
Chairman, to avoid sounding like a broken record, I would echo my prior colleagues with respect to the sentiments they've expressed.
All right. South Carolina Energy Users Committee.
Likewise, Mr. Chairman.
Frank Knapp Jr.
I concur with the comments that have already been made.
All right. Office of Regulatory Staff.
ORS concurs with the comments that have been presented thus
All
far.
right. As to the two non-signatories, I do have a couple of questions, just so we know where we are. I think you've answered the first question, that you had a chance to participate in discovery, pre-filing testimony, hearing testimony.
Yes, sir.
Did your client, or do you feel you had, and I also would ask that of CMC Steel.
Yes, what was the question? Sorry?
The question was, did you have an opportunity to participate meaningfully in this case, including the discovery process, pre-filing testimony, and hearing testimony from customers in public night hearings?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I would ask both of you gentlemen, did your client participate in settlement negotiations in good faith?
Yes, sir.
CMC,
Yes, sir.
has your client had an opportunity to review the terms of the agreement?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Although not a signatory to the agreement, I understand that your client, or that you do not object to the agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
CMC does not object.
Thank you. Your decision not to object to the agreement was reached voluntarily and not the product of any undue influence.
Yes.
Yes,
See-
that's correct.
Thank you. Would you agree as to what was presented to the Commission's agreement resolving all issues as to the signatory parties, but even as non-signatory parties, you agree that all issues are now settled?
Yes, we believe all issues are settled.
Okay.
CMC also believes all issues are settled.
All right. Thank you for that. And as I say, this being all done on such short notice, I really wanted that in the record. Are there any other preliminary matters that we need to discuss?
Chair Powers, Carrie Grunman on behalf of Walmart.
Yes, ma'am.
My colleague, Ms. Eaton, who is appearing remotely, I would request that she be excused from the remainder of the proceeding with your permission.
Certainly.
Thank you so much.
That means it's all yours.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Knapp.
I am a party to this settlement, and I do not have any witnesses, and I would ask to be excused from the rest of the proceedings.
You certainly can be. Thank you very much for your participation and the hard work that you do.
Mr. Chairman, on behalf of Dominion Energy South Carolina, just so you know, we do plan to present a settlement panel, which will consist of Mr. Keller Kassam and Kevin Kokums. The settlement agreement is attached to Mr. Kassam's pre-filed settlement testimony. So we're prepared to present that panel to you after you've had sufficient time to review the settlement agreement.
Well, and that's the next thing. We do need a little time. We have talked, and I think it would be in the Commission's best interest and give all parties a chance to catch their breath that we take some testimony at 2 o'clock and give us the rest of the morning to review what has been submitted, and now we know how everybody feels.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is that okay? Anything else?
I have a question.
Certainly, Commissioner Bells.
My review of the settlement agreement indicates that there are 4 settlement witnesses. Is that correct? 2 for the company, 1 for
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
CCL, and 1 for ORS.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And do we have any idea when we've received 2 settlement testimonies? Do we know when the other settlement testimony is going to be presented or filed?
Madam Chair, not to speak on behalf of CCL, I did just get an email that their testimony has now been pre-filed. ORS expects that it will pre-file its settlement testimony very shortly.
So we'll have it before lunch. Is that anticipated? No?
I don't think before lunch.
Okay. I just was trying to get an idea, but Ms. Mixon?
Yes, Mr. Beach's settlement testimony, I believe, has already been filed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Belzer. Commissioner Williams, you have a question?
Well, it was a similar question. When do we anticipate ORS's settlement testimony, and should?
We expect it by close of business. I think it will.
That's fine.
By close of business.
Of course, we will not hear ORS anything from them until last.
Personally, I would prefer to see all of the settlement testimony before we begin. But that's just
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Certainly, Commissioner Bells.
Mr. Mushkin, are there exhibits attached to ORS's testimony? Okay.
No, there are not.
I understand. Thank you.
Well, excuse me?
Mr. Chairman, I know that the parties have been working hard, and I recognize that there is a lot going on, and there are a lot of moving parts. Having been on that side of the bench before, I recognize the difficulty in trying to get all this stuff pulled together. And while I know we all want to be as prepared as we can for the hearing, I can certainly understand why it takes time to get the settlement testimony done. And I appreciate the time that you're allowing us until 2 p.m., but I'm ready to go forward then and appreciate it. And we look forward to getting this testimony in when it comes in. We know that they're working diligently to prepare it, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I was thinking we could hear from the first panel and, of course, have the agreement put into the record. And then, of course, they would be available should any of the commissioners or any parties have questions of them tomorrow or whenever we do have everything and feel prepared. Is that
Mr.
correct?
Chairman, Dominion Energy, we're here for the duration. So for as long as you want to have us here, we're happy to answer questions. We've got our witnesses sitting behind me, so we're ready to roll when you are.
All right. Commissioner C. Williams, would that help?
My comment is more kind of not thinking about this particular case as much as just in principle. It just doesn't feel right because what I read from ORS may inform what I want to ask the company about. So if there's, and again, it's more in principle, but there is the ability to recall should that occur. But it's more of your non-legal, just what I've learned and a principled kind of statement. Can I move forward and accept it? Of course. But that's my position.
Mr. Chairman, if it helps, certainly after the company has presented its settlement testimony, as I stated earlier, we're not going anywhere. We're happy to come right back up, even if it's at the end of the hearing or in the middle. You tell us when, and we can answer further questions that you might have.
I think because I hate to waste time with everything we've got scheduled and how things could go, that we could hear from those first. I think it's two people on your first panel.
Yes, sir, that is correct. It's two
We
persons.
could hear that. Then we have the agreement in evidence, and then we will certainly call them back if necessary in the morning or however we need to do it.
Happy to do that.
And that also would give us some time this afternoon to review whatever other testimony we need to look at. Ms. Mixon, I haven't seen yours, and I need time as well. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. That's perfectly fine.
All right. Well, then we're gonna.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is directed to the company. And I take it that testimony from all pre-file testimony is going to be entered into the record?
Yes, ma'am. It will be entered into the record.
Would you please look at witness Ludlow's exhibits, particularly exhibit WHL 5? I cannot read it. I've tried reading it on the computer. I tried to enlarge it. It pixelates. I cannot read that exhibit.
Okay, we'll be happy to.
Would you also look at WHL 3 and 4 because they're kind of hard to read too. And as long as we could get an enlarged version that can be folded down to paper size, I think our regulations allow for exhibits to be done that way. But
Absolutely, we'll be happy to.
Thank you.
We can print those out and bring them to you and hand them up to the bench if you like.
well, and you need to give enough to everybody else.
Of
Although parties may have gotten it in discovery. I don't know. But,
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody express a concern about readability, but if they want one, we'll have to give it to them for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Caston.
Along the lines of what Commissioner Belcher said, I agree. There are some things that are difficult to read, those in particular, but in defense of everyone, it's more difficult for me to read anything now. But what I would like to ask, other than the settlement panels, I notice we have a room full of folks that I suspect are on this original panel list. In the event that there are some questions that I'd really like to ask for my edification to understand things that may not just include the settlement panel, unless maybe Mr. Kassam wants to answer all of them. Would it be possible to do that if necessary, or if
Mr. Chairman, just so we're clear, we'll present the settlement panel, then they'll step down, and then we're going to bring Mr. Kassam back up with Mr. Randall and all the other witnesses. So it's not just I don't want you to think it's just a settlement hearing. We've got a lot of technical experts who are prepared to appear before you just like we would in a normal hearing. So if you have a question about somebody's direct testimony, if you want to get into vegetation management, we got the folks here and we plan on presenting them to you. We are here at your pleasure.
Well, that was my understanding, and I just kind of wanted to hear that.
It's always great to be clear, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and I take the position we can call or ask for any witness that has been submitted testimony earlier, and we want a full understanding of what's going on. This is the most important thing we do, I believe.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, Mr. Chairman. And like I said earlier, we've got a lot of witnesses and plenty of information to share, and we're happy to answer any and all questions until you say we'll stop.
Thank you very much. We will then adjourn until 2 o'clock. If there's any, if the attorneys need to get together with our counsel, certainly now might be a good time to do it and just see what else needs to be done. And, you know, we're very flexible, but there's all the time in the world we need for this. So we're adjourned until 2 o'clock. Thank you.